Welcome back to Enter Cheat Code. The name of the game this console generation is Studio Acquisition. Today, we're going to discuss the significance of Sony's recent acquisition of Housemarque and BluePoint Studios, and whether or not this moves the needle in Sony's favor when it comes to the raging console wars. With both Microsoft and Sony fighting to be the console of choice in your home, they must find ways to distinguish themselves and have a user experience that can only be enjoyed there. While Microsoft tried to sway consumers to their side with teraflops and the promise of immense power under the hood, Sony tried to sway consumers over with their forward-thinking and unique DualSense experience. At the end of the day, both Sony and Microsoft know, despite all the fancy bells and whistles, where consumers decide to play their games is going to be determined by answering a simple question: who has the best and most abundant exclusive user experiences? And unlike the past, third-party, multi-platform games don't get considered as much when determining what console to purchase, especially this generation, with crossplay being more prevalent than ever before. Now, you are no longer forced into buying the console that your friends have simply so you can play with them. So both companies have decided to acquire major studios to bolster up their exclusive offering, further incentivizing consumers to select them as their console of choice. Some notable acquisitions prior to this were Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda, who has a behemoth of an offering, as well as their acquisition of Obsidian and Ninja Theory, with Sony taking studios like Insomniac, which was a major needle mover as that came with essentially owning the video game license to Spider-Man and franchises like Sunset Overdrive, Ratchet & Clank, Spyro, and many more. So let's jump right in and talk about these studios, their pedigree, and what this means for Sony going forward. The acquisition of Housemarque seems like a great purchase for Sony. Housemarque has shown incredible loyalty to Sony in the past, making Sony the exclusive home to many of their past and successful entries. Housemarque is probably most commonly known to people for their recently and well-received title, Returnal. The third-person shooter roguelike, which was praised for its incredible visuals, fast-paced movement-based combat, and implementation of DualSense features in meaningful ways that truly enhanced the user experience. This game is my personal frontrunner for 2021 Game of the Year. I'll admit that I'm not quite finished with Ratchet & Clank, but Returnal was like nothing I had experienced before. The story was gripping, the game loop was brutally punishing, yet satisfying. This game gets ranked among some of my proudest games conquered, like Sekiro, Bloodborne, Cuphead, Hollow Knight, and many others. This game came out to favorable reviews, receiving a Metacritic score of 86. This studio also has other notable titles under the belt that further justify the purchase for Sony, such as Super Stardust HD, what feels like Sony's 3D answer to Microsoft's Geometry Wars. This was once again a well-received franchise, receiving a Metacritic score of 85 and approximately 500,000 in sales, further justifying this as a good studio acquisition for Sony. Let's move on to discuss the second notable acquisition, and that is of BluePoint Games. This studio is an interesting one, as they do not put out a lot of original games, which makes one question why Sony might have acquired them. Rather than developing new and original games, this is the most successful studio in the game as it pertains to ports and remasters. In fact, anytime there is a meaningful discussion about a potential reboot, remaster, or port, the first name that comes to mind is BluePoint Games, with notable contributions in this department as follows: God of War Collection, Ico and Shadow of Colossus Collection, Metal Gear Solid HD Collection, Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection, and two of their most ambitious and well-received remakes, Shadow of the Colossus, which received a Metacritic score of 91, and the most recent PS5 exclusive remake of Demon's Souls, which is sitting at an incredible 92 on Metacritic, making it the 7th highest rated game of 2020, a year that included Last of Us 2, Hades, and Half-Life Alyx. So it is completely obvious and simple why this was a great acquisition for Sony, and that is due to the fact that Sony is sitting on an absolute goldmine of dormant properties that are long overdue to make a return. With development costs and development time significantly raising over time, what better way to fill lengthy gaps between AAA titles than remasters, remakes, collections, and ports? A low-cost way to make tons of money and prey on our nostalgia, while minimizing the effects of time between major releases. It's a win-win situation. So what can we potentially expect from BluePoint Games and Sony? Well, as previously mentioned, Sony sits on a goldmine of dormant franchises, which include The Getaway, Ape Escape, Jak and Daxter, The Legend of Dragoon, Siphon Filter, Twisted Metal, Parappa the Rapper, and Dark Cloud. In conclusion, these two acquisitions make sense for Sony, and I am excited to see what they will do with them going forward. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the content. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Until next time.